Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. My pleasure to have with us back once again is Andrew Gordon. He's with the Investors Daily Edge. Andrew, welcome to Traders Nation. How are you today?
Very good, very good. Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Now, let's talk about something here. It's been in the news. Is the U.S. auto industry worth saving? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that's the wrong question. I think the question is, can the U.S. auto industry be saved in the first place?
All right.
And that's the question. You know, if you answer yes to the first one, I think it drives the second one. And to tell you the truth, yeah, I think the U.S. auto industry can be saved, and I think part of the solution is going to be what is happening right now with really the government doing something that probably the auto companies couldn't do on their own, which is encourage or perhaps compel the auto unions to accept concessions that they would not have accepted otherwise. Maybe they would have over a period of time in bankruptcy. I don't know about that, but
sure.
But certainly it's really absolutely clear that the current business model doesn't work, and if the auto workers are willing to accept lower wages, lower perks, lower health benefits,
sure.
Yes, then the auto industry can be saved. You have to remember, it's not just U.S. auto companies that are being killed in this market. It's Japanese, Korean, German, all these auto companies from all over the world. They're laying off people. They're cutting down production.
Sure. Yeah.
Their auto sales are dropping fast, not quite as fast as U.S. auto companies, but almost. So this is a problem for the global auto industry. Unfortunately, the U.S. auto industry is a leading edge, and they're taking a huge hit. But yes, I think it can be saved, and if it can be saved, why not save them?
Sure. Now, aren't they the last bastion as far as industry is concerned in the United States? I mean,
are they the last bastion of
Sebastian? I mean, aren't they the only industry we have left? Major industry we have left.
Well,
what'd you think, guys?
Don't tell all those high-tech companies in Seattle that the auto industry
forget
is
Seattle.
the last bastion.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it is, but it's a huge, it's a big part of the American industrial base, certainly.
Right.
And it's been a they haven't figured out how to make it a profitable part of the U.S. economy. So the question is, if you have even a big part of the U.S. Industrial structure, if it's losing money, is that a plus or a minus? The fact that you have a big part of a U.S. economy that's losing money. I think the only reason why I think it's worth saving isn't because it's such a big part. Although that the implication of if it falls, all these jobs that will be out is something that you can't ignore. But I think it could be a huge and profitable and successful part of the U.S. economy going into the future. They're making changes. Their car lineups are changing for the better.
They have to.
I think the U.S. government will force them to make advances in fuel-efficient cars. I think they're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Is it too little, too late? I don't think so, but the government has to act pretty quickly.
Yeah, a couple things there. For the record, I don't think Seattle would allow any smoke chimney stacks like they got in Detroit. For the record, I'm going to say that. All right, now let's talk about in Detroit. They have to make the changes because, let's face it, okay? They caught hell. They really did. Why don't you make cars that people want? Well, wait a minute. For the longest time, that's all we've done was make cars that people want. If cars weren't successful, they didn't sell, we went on to another car. The ads will prove that, okay? Now, they are getting geared up towards more fuel-efficient cars. There's no doubt about that. It's a big changeover. Technology, everything is a changeover. And let's face it, they have to make sure that they're on the right trend. They do. Because they're not going to make a car that people aren't going to, it's a big hot topic right now. Yeah, we need to be fuel efficient. We need to be fuel efficient. But when oil gets back down to $28 a barrel, are they going to be concerned, the consumer's going to be concerned about that anymore? I see these little cars, the little smart cars. I just want to push them off the road. They're so small. I wouldn't be caught dead in one of those. And if I was, I probably would be. So people might go back to the bigger cars. I don't know. We get that back down to $1.20 a gallon. Now what are the automakers going to do? If they've changed up their whole production, they retooled, what are they going to do?
Well, this is part of the problem of the government getting so much in the face of companies that they're telling them what cars to make, what models to make.
And that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, that is a problem. It's really a push-pull kind of problem that car companies are having. Should they make cars that customers want now, or should they make cars that customers will probably want 2 or 3 years down the road?
Right.
Well, what will be the price of gas 2 or 3 years down the road?
That's exactly
right. You first have to answer that question.
Yeah,
these are very, very difficult questions to answer, and the people most qualified to answer them, despite the track record of the Detroit 3, are the people inside the market, inside the industry, living, breathing, working this stuff day in, day out. The government is on the outside looking in. They're not the most appropriate people to do that. Not to say that because you're in the inside, you make all good choices.
Right. But Detroit, they said we've made mistakes.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, every business has, large or small, but nonetheless, you've got Frank's, by the way, up there dragging along with everybody else. They're being scrutinized, as they probably should be, but why are they being scrutinized more so than some of the other financial institutions that they've already paid money out to? I don't get that. Why are they being poked in the chest when others are not?
Well, I'll tell you why.
Why?
And it's just an accident of timing, because this crisis came after the financial crisis, and the government is getting skewered over their bailout plans for the financials.
All right.
Basically, because it changes every other week, or maybe every week.
Sure.
The model for financial institutions is that there is no model.
Right.
And they don't want. They learn. They may be politicians and have their own interests in mind, but they learn. They don't want to be targets of this kind of criticism again for another bailout plan. So they're trying to be a little hands-on, but I don't think they're striking the right balance. I think they're going a little overboard, and they're using this as an opportunity to get their favorite pet projects, pet policies, into the U.S. manufacturing. They're trying to sneak it into the back door.
Right.
And that's not good.
All right. Unemployment ripple. I mean, if these guys fail or if they go into bankruptcy, because let's face it, that's probably why we've seen the U.S. car makers they've seen their sales drop off, because people are really afraid to buy U.S. vehicles. They don't know if they buy one today, they can get a part for it next year. So the sales have dropped off. So at some point, if they go into bankruptcy, if they do, you're going to see layoffs, you're going to see unemployment, and that's how far out is that going to ripple to? Because you got a lot of suppliers. They don't do it all in-house. They got a lot of suppliers that pipe up to these big three.
Well, that's right. And, I think in terms of the auto workers who work at the auto manufacturing plants, they number around 280,000. But if you tie in the entire industry, the suppliers and everybody else, it's 10 times that. It's more like 2.8 million workers. And it's funny. I live in Maryland, and they're talking about the beating that the Port of Baltimore will take if these auto companies go out of business, because a lot of these cars are shipped through the Port of Baltimore. And why should we worry about what happens in Detroit? Well, a lot of jobs here are at stake too, and there are a lot of others
goes right to the port
that have these connections.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, it goes right out of Detroit, goes right to your port.
That's right.
All right. Now,
that's right.
All right. Real quickly, because we're almost out of time, we've got 16 foreign plants down in the South, and they seem to have an advantage over Detroit. What's that advantage? Is there one?
Oh, yeah, there's a huge advantage because they don't have the legacy union benefits. So, including the benefits, you're roughly talking about paying these southern plans something, the workers there, something like $28 an hour, as opposed to $78 an hour you're paying the union auto workers. That's a huge difference. That means that these Detroit Big Three, they're at a big cost disadvantage, and it shows. It doesn't explain everything that they're going through, but certainly,
sure,
it puts them at a further disadvantage.
Let's face it, labor's expensive at any business, whether it's you're paying somebody $12 an hour up to $78 an hour, because there's a lot of other factors that are involved. There's medical health care. There's 401k and retirement plans are involved. And not to mention, and some people actually don't know this, Andrew, that employers have to match Social Security tax. So that's also in there too, buried in there.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
I mean, not only that, but the Detroit Big Three, for every active worker they have right now on the payroll, they're paying pensions for 3 former workers.
Oh, that's a lot of money. That is so expensive. Nonetheless, we've got to take care of our own, don't we? All right, Andrew Gordon is with us here today, Investment Director of Investors Daily Edge. Andrew, where can we find you at?
You can find us at investorsdailyedge.com.
All right, head on over there today, investorsdailyedge.com. Andrew, thanks for being with us.